How's it going, YouTubers? Thought I'd kind of give you an update on my workbench and my epoxy top that I redid on it, and I actually the refurbishment. The paint I got matched pretty good. I don't know if you can tell. There's a little bit of a color, but I cleaned everything up, got the little bit of rust that was off the bottom of it, and the top turned out really good. I mean, if I had it to do over again, I would have ordered more epoxy. Get the dust off of here, but you can tell. I mean, it did a fine job, and it's hard as a rock, and it filled in like I wanted to. Like I said, this is a workbench, so it's going to get used. I just didn't want it all uneven, so that little washers and stuff didn't get stuck in those little cracks it used to have. But it turned out great. I don't know if I've ever shown you my workbench before. Kind of a short go over. As an electron man, what I do is I do a lot of electronic repair, and this is my workbench. As in my videos in the past, I got a new workshop, and I finally got my main workbench moved over here, and most of my test equipment kind of go up the top there. I got a voltage analyzer so that I know what voltage the current coming into the shop is, and got my sweep generator, two oscilloscopes. One's a 30 and one's a 35 megahertz, which for most of the work I do is more than enough. I do have a little digital scope down here too that I believe it's a 20 megahertz. I use it probably more than any. Typically, I use those when I'm working on ham radio and CB radio and stuff, so that I can check the modulation in the carrier and see how they look. Got a sweep generator. I've got a low-end a spectrum analyzer. It's just a carrier. The main thing I do with it is I just want to make sure I'm not splattering all over the place whenever I line one of them. So more than anything, I want to make sure the harmonics are good, and it's good for testing that. And then, of course, I got me a nice precision power supply there, and there's a bench voltmeter. I use that little microscope quite a bit for this SMT stuff. It's pretty handy to lay a board down there and kind of inspect it, and you can sure catch a lot of burnt little caps and stuff that you can't catch from the human eye. And I've got a little SWR power meter. That's just basically for HF. On the top there, I've got my resistor. You got to have one of them, especially for working with tubes, so I can bring up stuff, old radios, any tube stuff. You need a resistor. Which is basically variable AC. You can bring it up to 20 volts and make sure it doesn't smoke before you bring it up to 120. But you've probably seen a lot of videos with that, and you know what those are. But basically, that's pretty much it. I've got my old Radio Shack. Man, this is a dinosaur these days, but it's an accurate meter, and it's really good for checking my transistors. And it's just a good little old bench auto range multimeter. And then of course, I got my screwdriver set and some parts there, and kind of starting to stock some of this stuff. That's a few of my tools there, and starting to get my parts organized there. Resistors, caps, more parts, connectors, switches. And of course, I've got my main stuff I keep in here. That's where I keep all my diodes and resistors and finals and stuff like that. I still need to go through that stuff and organize it a little bit more, but anyway, don't want to go too long on this. I just thought I'd kind of give you a part two of how the workbench looks now that I've got it put where it's going to stay. And I still got a few things. I'm going to build a little shelf there to the right and mount that light on that shelf, and I'm probably going to put my desolder station to the right there. It's kind of big, and I don't want to take up bench area. But anyway, just a short little video to kind of show you how the workbench restore came out, and I'm really tickled with it, and we're going to put her back to work. Have a good day. This is Electron Man.